can actually feel it inside me, and I couldn't breathe. This is it, I'm going to die. I've never experienced anything like this.
Trước đây gần như là những bệnh nhân như thế sẽ buông.
Nếu mà mình không cấp cứu kịp thời thì sẽ không thể giữ được bệnh nhân.
It's a miracle for me. I'm so grateful.
I really appreciate everything you've done for us.
Hello and welcome to Talk Vietnam. Vietnam's fight against coronavirus or the COVID-19 pandemic is happening in all fields across the country. However, the hottest spot that is under tremendous pressure is probably in the hospital, where the fight is direct and constant day in and day out. How are the doctors and patients dealing with the disease, and what keeps them motivated to overcome all the challenges? We are going to dig deep into this and in our show today, and hopefully to uncover secrets behind amazing achievement of Vietnam that the whole world is praising, which is keeping the COVID-19 death zero. Let's join me to meet our first guest of the show.
On March the 2nd, Shan Corrali Ellison Barker and her partner, Joan Gart Dixon, were on the flight VN0054 from London to Hanoi to meet her son in Vietnam. They were on business class. Little did they know that they were sitting next to a COVID-19 patient. 5 days later, they were found to be positive with SARS-CoV-2 and got transferred immediately from Quảng Ninh province to the National Hospital for Tropical Diseases on March the 8th.
So we are connecting to Ms. Shan Corrali Ellison Barker, who is right now treated in the hospital, National Hospital for Tropical Diseases in Hanoi. Hi, Shan, can you hear me?
I hear you, yes, thank you, Lee, yeah.
How are you feeling right now?
I feel a lot happier than many weeks ago. I'm really on the road for recovery, so that's good.
Mm-hmm. So Shan, can you walk me through the journey of you and your partner flying from the UK to Vietnam? What happened on that flight and your 5 weeks here in Vietnam?
This was a plan, was a dream holiday. My son in Vietnam, I haven't seen him for a year and a half, so it was something that we were really looking forward to. It was a dream holiday. We saved up for it and we were very excited, and we got on the plane and we were in business class, and I remember my husband partner, he said to me, look, she doesn't look very well. She was sitting next to us, and I agreed. She didn't look well, but I was too excited. I was having my glass of champagne and I was happy, and yeah, I didn't take any notice of him at all. So we got on with it. It was a wonderful flight with the airlines. The stewardesses were fantastic, and we landed and we stayed, got to the hotel, and everything was great. But I was feeling very tired, and I couldn't understand this.
When did you start feeling tired?
As soon as I got to the hotel, and I said to my husband, I went, I'm really white. I look ill, but I didn't feel ill. I just felt tired. So we went to bed, and then we got up, and I had diarrhea. And I just thought, oh, I must be the water. Anyway, I couldn't understand it. I ignored it. And then the next day we went on a tour around the temples, guide, and I got excruciating tummy pains twice. And twice I had to quickly run to the toilet. Mm-hmm. Okay, it's passed. Okay, but still very tired. That night I started to cough. Just a tickle, nothing hurting my chest, just a little dry throat, which was annoying. But again, I never thought anything about the COVID. It just didn't occur to me. Just a little dry cough, tired, that was it. No sore throat, no temperature. And then we went on the cruise to Halong Bay. And again, I was starting to feel very tired, and I didn't want to eat. Mm-hmm. And that is very unusual for me, because I love my food. And the fish on the boat was beautiful fish. I couldn't eat it. And I said to John, I need to bed. I feel so tired. And then the next day we got a knock on the door to say, do not leave your room.
Wow.
And this was like,
It's quite
wow,
frightening.
This was about 6, 7 o'clock in the morning on the cruise. And they said that the passenger that was next to us had been tested positive. The one actually John had said didn't look well. So we said, you must not leave your room. So we waited 2 hours, and eventually we were able to leave, and we were put into a car and told to go to this hotel where we would be tested. So that was started to get scared.
Mm-hmm.
So they gave us nasal and throat swabs, and they said, you need to stay in your room. You're not to leave your room in the hotel. And by now, there's big signs saying quarantine. And we were now thinking, uh-oh, this is a problem. I took my temperature again, and then I realized I think I might have this virus. But John had no symptoms. He was absolutely fine. So the next morning, bang on the door, you need to leave in half an hour. You are positive. It was scary, and it was all happening so quickly. So we get to the hospital where I am now, with the tropical diseases, and the trolley. And I just wanted that trolley. And then I really, it started, I could feel now the virus in me. I could actually feel it traveling inside me. I've never felt that before. My friends who were already still in there say that I was going to die. I was white. Anyway, this went on for, I think, a week. I do remember at one point going to the toilet, and I looked at myself in the mirror. And my father died 6 months ago, and I looked just like my father, white, sunken eyes. I just thought, oh my God, I look just like my dad, because I was with my dad when he died. And I don't want to die yet, but I felt scary. I was going to die. It was very scary. Anyway, I just looked at me, and I suddenly, Sean, you're not going to get me. You're not going to me. Somehow I'm going to fight you.
Yes.
Immediately after admitted to the hospital, Sharon Barker was put in emergency ward. Her condition got worse. She had fever, she couldn't sleep, and couldn't breathe. As a retired nurse with 20 years of experience, she realized it was a dangerous situation. She even thought she could die.
You can be coughing and you think, oh, okay, I'm going to get better. But suddenly, within an hour, you need to have, support. And you need to have a tube, intubation, and a machine to help you breathe. And that's where it's scary, because both of my lungs are damaged with the virus. So, of course, you can't expand your lungs. So, like that all the time. Even getting out of bed, I'm just walking to the end of the bed was difficult.
I shouldn't, so that's why
In the ICU there are a lot of ventilators ready, but I think you do a very good job. But again, very traumatic.
Can you elaborate more on the treatment, the protocol of treatment of Vietnamese doctors given to you in the hospital?
Right, they gave me drips. I had 2 intravenous infusions of very strong antibiotics. That time it wasn't really working. And they offered me the HIV drug, the drug that they use for when you have AIDS. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So I said, "Can I think about this, please?" So I thought about it for 24 hours, and I said, "What are the side effects?" They said vomiting, and I knew that if I started vomiting, I was so weak anyway that would finish me off. So I declined the drug. So they carried on with the antibiotics, oxygen. Each day they take arterial blood from you, which is to measure the levels of etc. in your blood, in the artery, the oxygen and what's going on. And that was quite, sometimes it hurts, sometimes I don't care. You just do what you like. I was just a pincushion. Both my arms were black from bruising. But you don't really feel pain when you're that ill, if that makes sense.
Yes.
You just want to breathe.
Right.
The doctors were amazing. They monitored me all the time, continually through the night. I couldn't sleep. I couldn't breathe. I was on oxygen. And it was up and down. This virus, it seems to attack you, and then it goes, okay, we'll leave you a bit, but we'll have another go. And then it's quite interesting how it works. And I just, I was scared. Yeah, at one point, I thought, yeah, this is it. This is it. I started to, not hallucinate, but my oxygen went down to 82%, and I know that is really dangerous, because when I worked in operating theatres, we would be really worried about a patient at that level, and head ringing, and I knew that, and yeah, I thought, I do not want to go on this ventilator, because I knew if I get on the ventilator, you know, it's big problems.
Right.
So the doctors were fab. They were there during the night for me. And I think there was touch and go whether they were going to put me on the ventilator, but I was lucky, one of the lucky ones.
Yes.
Yeah. And I really do believe, I don't, not believe it, I know I would not be talking to you now if I hadn't had the amazing treatment I have here in Vietnam. So thank you.
So as Shan mentioned, along with her at the Hospital for Tropical Diseases is her husband, Mr. John Garth Dixon. He is one of the most severe COVID-19 patients there and has been in ICU for about 5 weeks. His treatment for him, therefore, is quite special compared to normal patients.
Only 9 days after testing positive for SARS-CoV-2, John Garth Dixon had to receive oxygen treatment. 5 days later, his condition had worsened, causing him to suffer severe respiratory failure. This forced doctors to transfer him to the intensive care unit so he could be intubated and put under ventilation. From that moment on, the medical team of National Hospital for Tropical Diseases had entered a battle to give a patient who had suffered from lymphoma for 10 years back his life.
When I found out that my husband was going to be transferred into this intensive care unit, I was very scared, because him being on a ventilator is a much more serious condition, and obviously not always you recover once you've been on the ventilator. So, and with his age being 74, of course he's at more risk. So yes, I was very scared, and of course I'm not able to talk to him because he's completely sedated, he's unconscious.
Lúc bây giờ là gần như là người bệnh thấy thiếu oxy, ngột ngạt và có cảm giác như là rất là thất vọng, như là mình có thể ra đi khỏi cái cõi đời này. Bệnh nhân đã được chuyển sang khoa hồi sức tích cực để sử dụng tất cả những phương tiện hiện đại nhất về máy thở, rồi theo dõi và chăm sóc với một cái lịch trình đặc biệt nhất, theo dõi sát từng giây, từng phút, từng giờ để chúng ta xem được các cái chức năng sinh tồn của đối với người bệnh này. Chúng tôi cho rằng đây là một trong những cái ca bệnh mà phải nói là có những cái diễn biến nó rất là bất thường.
Và bệnh nhân đấy cũng có những thời điểm mà đã được lệnh của hội đồng chuyên môn là phải chỉ định là làm tim phổi nhân tạo. Nhưng sau đấy thì anh em mình là những người mà làm trực tiếp ấy, mình vào mình xoay trở, mình tìm mọi cách mình cải thiện tình trạng lên để tránh được cái chuyện mà phải can thiệp tim phổi nhân tạo, và sau đấy bệnh nhân vẫn ổn.
After a week of intensive treatment for John, on April the 5th, his condition has improved. Mechanical ventilation was stopped, and he was switched to an oxygen mask, and then to using a nasal cannula. Only 3 days after that, a miracle had happened. The patient was breathing well again. On April the 13th, he tested negative for SARS-CoV-2 for the 4th time.
After I think about 10 days, then he's determined to improve all the time, and he is improving. I have no doubt that it's amazing team effort of this hospital that he is alive. We are so happy and we are so grateful. It's a miracle for me, and I thank you. I'm going to make me cry again. I'm so grateful. Thank you. Thank you.
So Shan, what did you do to help your husband?
He went down in the emergency. He was very poorly, and he ended up on a ventilator. So that was terrible for me because I can't see him. I couldn't see him for way over, I think, 10 days. I couldn't speak to him. It was horrible. And then I thought, hang on, I remember this would help him if I can speak to him. He can hear, you know, when you're on a ventilator, you have heavy sedation. But when they start wanting to take you off the ventilator, they reduce the sedation so they can hear. And I thought it would help his recovery. He would hear my voice.
Right.
So the doctors agreed, it was very good, that I would could speak to him on a video call. So we arranged that, and I hadn't spoken to him, seen him for 10, 11 days. So we did a video call. I don't know now whether he heard me or not, because he was on the ventilator. But I just spoke to him, and I just felt good to speak to him. Anyway, I then spoke to the doctors in ICU, in our intensive care unit, and I said, I really feel, as a nurse, it would help for him to see me.
Right.
And if not, work in the unit, I'd be a nurse for you. I can change the patients, I can feed them, I can do the drips for you. But they didn't want me to work. But I said, I'm more than happy to work as a nurse again. I love my nursing.
Yeah.
But they said no. They agreed we could go.
Wow.
So I put all the gowns on, because they are positive, some of the patients in there. And I'm now a negative, so I don't want it. Because they still don't know, you still may be able to get it again. So I gowned up. That was very emotional, because he's off the ventilator, but he's still very confused. Each day now, he's fantastic, and now he is completely, his brain is fine.
Right, it's good news, and we're so glad to hear this. It's quite a challenging and frightening journey that you two been through.
Yeah, very challenging. I think I don't think I'm the same person as I was. I think I'm a much stronger person now than I was. I've always been strong, but I'm even stronger now.
Thank you so much for your sharing, and I believe that sooner or later COVID-19 will be gone, but solidarity and patience will remain, and it starts from now.
Thank you. Bye.
Yeah, bye. To understand more about the cases of John Garth Dixon and Sean Barker, as well as other COVID-19 patients, we are now connecting to the doctors at the National Hospital of Tropical Diseases. Well, thank you very much, Dr. Trần Văn Giang from the Virus and Parasitology Department and Dr. Trần Hải Ninh from the Internal Medicine Department for joining us now. So hello to both doctors from our studio here at Vietnam Television.
Morning.
So our first question, we've seen that both Mr. Dixon and Ms. Barker have infected with COVID-19, but their symptoms are very different. So can you explain to us the reason why?
Yeah, so far we have scientific evidence that new coronavirus can cause many kind of categories, but we mainly divide the disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 into three categories. First one is mild disease, second one is moderate disease, and the third one is severe one. And the progression of the disease caused by SARS-CoV-2 it depends on many things, such as like immune system of each patient, or the chronic disease that persons have been suffering for years, or depends on the age of each patient.
So I want to ask Dr. Ninh about the difference in the treatment between Mr. Dixon and Ms. Barker, because they both contracted with COVID-19. So what's the difference in their treatment?
As we all know that the disease of these two patients is much different. The first one, the male patient, she got pneumonia. However, her situation didn't come to so severe, and she didn't need a ventilator. So we just try to support her with the oxygen and also we provide some specific treatment and also some other supportive, and days by day her situation is getting better. However, with the second case, her husband, his situation become more and more severe. Not only simply wait for oxygen support, he also need to be ventilated, and also he have many other severe situations as his baseline disease, the lymphoma. He has had it for more than 10 years, so we also need to treat that condition for him. Also the other support to control his hypertension as well as other condition. And about the time of treatment for the wife, it needs only nearly 2 weeks for her to get better, but for the husband we need at least 6 weeks so his condition can get better.
Wow, that's double the, triple the times of treatment for Ms. Barker. Yeah, and I also heard that Ms. Barker, she got the medications for the treatment of HIV/AIDS. So can you share more about this?
It is one of the drugs we use to treat for the HIV/AIDS patient, but it is not only the drug for HIV/AIDS patient, because we also use this drug for some other situation, especially for those patients with COVID-19. At this moment, we have many different research about this drug and also many other drugs for the COVID-19. Some research support that we can use this drug, some research doesn't support that. So at this moment, because it is very new and we try to do our best to deal with the patient, so we put the patient with that drug, and luckily the patient have a good response to the drug and he can recover.
Obviously, everything is still in the development mode because this disease is unprecedented before.
Since the SARS pandemic in 2003, the world once again faces a new respiratory disease. Until now, the origins of the coronavirus is still a mystery, and the world has yet to find an effective cure or vaccine. According to recent studies, in the global average, cases that are considered critical have a risk of death within 14 to 19 days after being in the intensive care unit or ICU. So for doctors, this is a race against time to save lives.
Khi mà người cao tuổi hoặc là có nhiều cái bệnh lý nền thì khi bị một cái bệnh gì nó cũng khó chữa hơn rất nhiều. Vì là khi bị một cái bệnh nhiễm trùng cấp tính thì những cái bệnh nền ấy nó sẽ khó kiểm soát và điều trị nó sẽ khó khăn, và đôi khi thì nó làm nặng cái bệnh lý nền ấy. Vì cái bệnh này khi mà nó nặng, nó diễn biến ngoài siêu hô hấp, nó có cái tổn thương viêm cơ tim, tổn thương suy tạng, đa tạng. Chúng ta áp dụng tất cả các cái phương pháp cao nhất trong điều trị cái này thì nó cũng đang có xu hướng tiến triển tốt lên. Nhưng về mặt tư lượng thì chúng ta vẫn còn đang rất dè dặt, chưa có thể nói trước được. Các ca của chúng ta cũng là rất là nặng, có thể tử vong bất cứ lúc nào.
In Vietnam, as of April 17, there were 6 serious and extremely severe cases. The most severe patients have at least one underlying disease, such as previous cerebrovascular accident, gout, hemangioma, and diabetes. When the patient's condition turns critical with severe respiratory failure and does not respond to oxygen, they will have to go to the intensive care unit for intubations and ventilation. If the situation gets more severe, the patient's blood will be oxygenated through the extracorporeal membrane oxygenation, or ECMO, and continuous dialysis. Among the severe cases, the case of patient number 20 was one of the most critical with cardiac arrest happening 3 times.
Bệnh nhân này có 2 cái thời điểm mà mình cực kỳ là ấn tượng. Đấy là thời điểm mà khi mà bệnh nhân trở nặng vào ban đêm, khi mà thở máy, khi mà làm các biện pháp hồi sức thường quy tối ưu rồi, tình trạng bệnh nhân đang diễn biến rất là xấu và chỉ còn duy nhất một cái phương pháp, đấy là sử dụng cái hệ thống tim phổi nhân tạo thì mới có thể giữ được người bệnh để trong đấy chờ, hy vọng là sau này điều trị là tình trạng khá hơn lên. Nhưng mà đến một cái khoảnh khắc thứ hai nữa là cái mới cuối tuần vừa rồi thôi, khi mà bệnh nhân tưởng chừng đã đi được khoảng độ đến 80% chặng đường rồi, bệnh nhân lại có cái biến cố về rối loạn nhịp và ngừng tim, không thể tưởng tượng nổi. vọng, tức là mình cảm thấy tiếc nuối. Mà như bình thường biết, các anh chị biết là nếu một bệnh nhân ngừng tim, ngừng tuần hoàn đến tận 30 phút, tức là ép tim mà làm các thủ thuật trong ấy. Trước đây gần như là những bệnh nhân như thế sẽ buông.
Nhiều đêm là mình ngủ lúc nào cũng phải để cái điện thoại bên cạnh vì sợ là bệnh nhân có thể sẽ rơi vào một cái tình trạng nguy kịch mà nó quá nhanh. Thế thì lúc nào cũng phải để cái điện thoại ở bên cạnh để nghe là nếu mà điều dưỡng mà gọi cho mình một cái là mình phải mở được máy ngay lập tức. Nếu mà mình không cấp cứu kịp thời thì sẽ không thể giữ được bệnh nhân.
As of 6 p.m. on April 18th, of the total COVID-19 positive patients, 53 were foreign patients, 51 of whom have recovered, and only 2 under treatment.
In the treatment process, we can save the lives of severe patients because the whole country dedicates its mind and resources to save them.
Việt Nam chúng ta tập trung hết sức về trí tuệ để mà điều trị, sẵn sàng điều trị mặc dù các cái thuốc men gì có thể tốt nhất được để điều trị cho bệnh nhân, đem lại lòng tin cho nhân dân cũng như là lòng tin cho các cái công dân nước ngoài mà điều trị ở Việt Nam.
How is it different in treating foreign patients compared to Vietnamese patients?
Because they are much different from us about the culture, even their habit is much different. They don't have the habit of wearing a physical mask. They don't want to stay inside the room. They want to go around to speak to other people. So at the beginning, it is very hard for us to try to ask them to stay inside the room, to keep their mask. Maybe all during the time they stay. They also said they don't want to do that. They're all right to go around to speak out with other people. But because at the beginning we don't have much information about the disease, or not only in Vietnam but also in the world, so they cannot clearly understand about the mechanism of the disease. But after that, after 1 week, because there are more information from the TV, from the news around, so they can clearly understand, and then they can put on their mask, stay inside the room and cooperate with us. And even when some case they distract, they are so happy. They ask us to take pictures together. They want to say something, put some special souvenirs of Vietnam to share with the people in their own countries. So we both are very happy with that.
That's really beautiful. So besides providing them with basic necessities like food or accommodation, what are the other mental support or emotional support that you gave them during their difficult time?
It depends on the patient situation. With some severe case, especially with the ventilated case, after they recover, so we try to help them to go back to the normal activity, like we try to help them to walk on their foot, also try to help them to breathe deep in their lung. So it is also like the supportive, but it takes many times because you know every day the nurses need to walk by side the patient to go around the room, and it takes at least 1 week. Then the patient can go on their own foot. It is the supportive treatment, but it is very important to help the patient to recover. For my patient, so we don't need to care much about their severe situation, but many other support because they have the baseline disease like diabetes, hypertension, or the malignant disease. So we need to provide other treatment for those cases. And the other group, they are very young and they are not in so severe situation, so the treatment is easier, and it is also easier for us to try to persuade them to stay in the hospital for at least 14 days.
Yeah, what about you, Dr. Zhang? I heard that some patients said that you're very helpful and talk to them a lot and maybe say some jokes sometime to help cheer them up. Can you share more about that?
Yeah, actually we did like that, and not only me but also our doctor spend more time with them to encourage them, to cheer up them, and we also connect with the embassy of their country in Hanoi, and some of them also have like a private doctor in their country. So they connect us with their doctor in their countries, and we discuss about their disease. We share the information, and finally we found a way to help the patient, to make the patient trust us and believe in us, and also trust in the therapy. So that's why the patient feel happy and feel pleasure to stay here with us for long days. We share with them not only about the disease, but also about our culture, our difficulty during the time we stay here. Because we know that all of us stay in the hospital 24. So we also need to looking for some friends. And also talking with them is the way for us to practice English. Because normally we only work with Vietnamese, but this time we have many foreigners. So we take this opportunity to talk in English, to share story in English.
Yeah, you are acting like a bridge connecting them to our Vietnamese culture, and that's what a beautiful story it is. Thank you.
Since the start of the COVID-19 pandemic, the National Hospital for Tropical Diseases has moved all patients undergoing treatment there to another place and is dedicated solely to the treatment of COVID-19 patients. So far, the hospital had treated 140 COVID-19 patients, 17 of whom are foreigners.
I have to say that the organization as well as treatment process of Vietnam is very professional. The patients here are divided into different wards depending on their condition, which limits the chance of cross-infection. The food in here is very good. We have a choice of Western or Vietnamese dishes. But I always like the Vietnamese rice, with very diverse food like fish, meat and vegetables.
And many foreigners whose life was saved have shown gratitude.
I really appreciate everything you've done for us. At least we survived, and we thank you for that.
I just feel very grateful to Vietnam for all that they've done, because particularly ICU, it's been wonderful.
Tôi rất xúc động và muốn bày tỏ sự cảm ơn của tôi đối với các bác sĩ, y tá và nhân viên của bệnh viện.
Thank you to Vietnam, your medical system, your doctors. I am absolutely amazed. Now I've got a real urge to come back to Vietnam. I want to do the journey I had planning.
So how about you guys? We talked a lot about the patients, but now what about the doctors who have been at the hospital? Do you miss home?
Yeah, so we have to stay here for almost 2 months to take care of all the positive patients. And of course, when we take care of them, and we hope that they can go home someday. But for us, we also hope that after all of them can go home, so it's our turn to go home with our family. So we think that day will come soon.
What about you, Dr. Ning? Is it more difficult to be a woman, fighting in this combat against COVID-19?
It is not only for Dr. Giang or me. I think it's the same situation for all the staff in our hospital, because many people here we stay for at least 2 to 3 weeks, and the longest maybe more than 3 months. We stay all in the hospital 24 hours per day, and it is so stressed that you're always facing with many severe patients, and you can directly look at some case that when they admitted they in very even asymptomatic, they don't have any specific symptom, but after 1 week or 2 weeks they become more severe. It is so stressed that you see the patient getting worse and worse. It is at the beginning of the disease, of the pandemic, but now we have many recovered patients and we see their situations better. So it is also good emotion for us we feel much better, and we hope that in the very, very near future we can coming home.
I'm really curious about how you guys feel at the hospital because you saw so many cases, severe cases, life and death moments. Were you scared?
Yeah, so at the beginning, we also anxious and scared about that, but we identify that we have to fight against the outbreak, the disease, and we have to cure a patient. If we want to go home, we have to serve all of them, and all of them can go home, we can go home.
Bệnh nhân Alex đang khó thở. Xin ý kiến chỉ đạo.
Ok, đã nghe rõ.
Ngày thứ Bảy và ngày Chủ nhật thì bọn mình hoàn toàn là không có nghỉ. Tất cả các nhân viên bệnh viện thì đều làm việc tối thiểu là 18 tiếng một ngày, không thì là 24 tiếng.
Mọi thứ ở đây thì nó đã thành cái thói quen khi mà toàn bộ thời gian chúng tôi ở trong bệnh viện.
Hôm nào con cũng gọi điện hỏi, thế hôm nay mẹ có về không? Thì bảo chưa. Nhiều khi hỏi những câu buồn cười bảo, tại sao mẹ lại đeo được khẩu trang 24/24 thế nhỉ?
Rất là đẹp rồi đấy, không còn thấy nấm ở trong đờm nữa, mình đỡ rồi.
These are the stories shared by senior doctors who have worked for many years at the National Hospital for Tropical Diseases. As for young nurses, especially for couples when both husband and wife are treating COVID-19 patients, they find themselves in unexpected situations.
Em là được phân công chăm sóc trực tiếp bệnh nhân chia theo ca, mỗi ca 12 tiếng, chăm lo cho bệnh nhân từ thuốc men, các thông số máy thở, rồi là đến hút đờm rồi cho ăn. Rồi ngay cả đến việc tắm rửa vệ sinh, rồi kể cả thay bỉm cho bệnh nhân. Con em hơn 2 tuổi thì buổi đầu tiên đi học thì là cũng là buổi đầu tiên dừng việc học lại, là hôm qua đưa con về quê luôn. Và từ hôm đến nay là em không nhớ chính xác nữa, cũng phải 2-3 tháng rồi thì cũng chưa gặp con. Cho dù vợ chồng cùng viện nhưng mà cũng không được gặp nhau vì là hai nơi tiếp xúc khác nhau. Sau mỗi giờ làm việc là bạn mệt rồi nên là gọi một ít rồi thì dần dần đã quen, rồi là đi ngủ. Nhưng mà lúc tỉnh dậy thì luôn đau đáu về gia đình chứ. Vợ em ở tầng 4, đứng đây sẽ nhìn lên cửa sổ. Khi nào em đi làm về thì em với vợ em cùng một tour. Em sẽ đi qua cái hành lang là trên tầng vợ em sẽ nhìn.
Mỗi một lần mà chồng bảo là vợ ơi đi ra ngoài cửa sổ cho chồng nhìn một cái là cảm thấy cũng thấy nhớ lắm ạ. Nhưng mà không biết làm thế nào.
If Tuan and Thủy could send their child back to their hometown and ask their parents to help take care of the child, many other couples were not that lucky.
Bệnh viện có 2 vợ chồng, các bạn ấy cùng là điều dưỡng, cùng làm việc tại bệnh viện. Con thì lại 2 đứa con nhỏ, chưa thể gửi về quê cho ông bà. Nhà trọ thì lại không được thuê nữa. Thực sự là ban lãnh đạo bệnh viện cũng rất là trăn trở với những cái trường hợp như thế.
Doctors and nurses have sacrificed their personal life to focus on one goal, by all means to save the lives of the most critical COVID-19 patients. Between shifts, they find some time for themselves, and in those moments, nothing is more precious than the smiles of their beloved.
Thì bụng có mặc áo của mẹ nữa không?
Có. Tắt lúc cần lúc lúc thì ngắt tim ra.
Thế để làm gì?
Để nó nhớ mà nó là tiện.
Khi nào hết bệnh nhân dương tính thì mẹ sẽ về. Cố lên.
Now let's go back with our guest Sean Barker and see how the love for each other can be a cure to help them get over this deadly disease.
After 1 month and 5 days of fighting COVID-19 by the absolute faith in the Vietnamese doctors, on the evenings of April 13, John Grant Dixon was announced to have recovered from COVID-19 after testing negative for SARS-CoV-2 4 times. The British couple took a return flight to England in the early mornings of April 14, as arranged by the British government for British citizens.
It's going to be very emotional when we get home because I know we're going to miss you all. We really appreciate what you've done for us. I can't thank you enough, and we'll never ever forget you. Never, will we? We'll never forget how you're a very special people. You have got this COVID under control. you're doing the right thing, and I congratulate you. And I will be telling England how wonderful and what a good job you're doing. I love you all. Thank you. Take care. Be safe. Thank you.
So we can see a happy ending to a story of COVID-19 patients thanks to the treatment of doctors, nurses and health workers at the Hospital for Tropical Diseases. I hope that this can brighten up your days in our long-standing fight against COVID-19. And we believe that with the right approach and determination, we will win this battle. And what's left behind is the gratitude, human connection and love. Thank you for tuning in, and we'll see each other again in other episodes of Talk Vietnam.
I want to thank the amazing doctors,
nurses, and military, the police,
and Vietnamese government
for all your efforts and hard work and determination.
For all that you do to keep us safe and healthy.
It does not go unseen.
I know that there is no place that I would rather be right now than here in Vietnam. So thank you so much for everything.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Cảm ơn nhiều.
Xin cảm ơn Vietnam.
Vietnam, we love you. Vietnam cố lên. Vietnam cố lên.
Cố lên.
Vietnam cố lên.
Together we can defeat this.
I just feel very grateful to Vietnam.
Thank you.
I'd like to say thank you to all.
Thank you, Vietnam.
Thank you so much.
Cảm ơn nhiều.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Xin cảm ơn Vietnam.